It's Monday, November 2023. And I haven't been updating much, and I probably won't be updating much this week because all that's happening is I'm building covers in the shop. You can see a rather good pile of covers behind me. And what you can't see is there's another pallet I've started behind that, and a few on the bench here yet. But I think I'm just sub 100 yet, and I've got to build 200. So I've got a long way to go yet. And I have a dwindling number of days to meet my goal of having 200 ready to go by the end of the month of November. So I got to step this up a bit. I have a couple of markets this week, actually. I don't do very many markets these days, but I have one Christmas market. A friend of mine puts this market on, so I like to support them with attendance, and it's a good market anyway, and it's the only one that I do in this season. There's a lot of Christmas markets to do, and they're pretty lucrative, but we're trying to wean off markets, really. We just don't have the energy. So trying to just change the model a bit so that we're not as dependent on markets. And the other two markets I have, there's one this week and one in December, is I've been invited to do a market at a senior center. Now this one this week I'm doing I've been doing this for a number of years. I don't remember how many years, but quite a number of years, probably 5 years or more. I've been doing this market, and they're fun little markets. They don't last very long. I think this one is 2 hours or something like this, and they don't charge me to go there. So it's just kind of an invitational thing. You go there and you kibitz with the seniors, and they buy a little bit of honey. It's not very lucrative, I'll come home with $200, which, it's $200, right? So that helps. And it's kind of fun, and it's easy. I do those by myself because they're during the day, they're during the week, and my wife doesn't take time off her job to go to those markets, so I do them by myself. Whereas the Christmas market that we're doing, it's on a weekend, so she'll join me on that one. Almost begrudgingly, though. She really doesn't like doing the markets. And that's partly why we're weaning off of them. I find they're a big strain as well, but I'm a little more incentivized, to do the markets because it makes a big impact on my bottom line. So that's enough about markets, and otherwise I'm just working in the shop, and I've been setting my sights on 20 covers a day, which doesn't sound like much, but it's plenty, and I think I need to up that to see if I can do 30 a day, because I have, I think, 8 days to do 7 days of work, and that doesn't really leave much margin at all. So I need to step this up a little bit, get these done. So that's really all I'm doing. I catch up on my YouTube, those long presentations and videos and things that you sometimes you don't want to commit to, you don't have time to watch right now. That's what I watch here, because I can put that thing on. It can run for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I can listen to it, catch up on everything. And I'm pointing here because I have my big TV screen here. So that's really nice. What I need is a Bluetooth headphones here. This is just my ear protection. I find that some of my nailers and staplers and stuff, where they're really loud, so I like to wear the ear protection, and it would be nice to get the sound through the headset, because the only alternative I have is to run the TV really loud. That works pretty good, but there's still sometimes I can't hear it wearing that. And I don't really know what I use. I use a Chromecast device, I don't know what you call it, that plugs into my TV HDMI port to play the videos. So I don't know how I would play the sound on a Bluetooth connected headset. Regardless, I'm not about to go buy a Bluetooth headset. It's not in the budget. So I'll do what I'm doing. In the meantime, And I actually find right now that, well, we're talking about the weather a little bit. It's still fairly warm. The building is cooling reasonably well, but it's still getting up to 6, 7, 8 degrees sometimes in the day. Today's forecast high is 9C, and so the building's going to warm up today, but that's the last day. Tuesday, starting Tuesday, the daytime highs are going to be consistently below freezing, so that'll really help keep the barn settled in, and that'll keep it at 4C. I'll guarantee that. So it is a little warm. I don't keep it warm in my shop. I keep it, well, I was going to say I keep it 15C, and I can see my temperature sensor right here. It's 15C. And that's plenty warm for me, because when I get working around in here, it gets pretty warm when you're even reasonably active or slightly active. But one of the kind of, I think you might find comical things is I actually have switched to wearing my shorts in my shop because I just find the long pants I don't cool properly wearing too much clothing. So it's back to shorts for a little while I'm working in here. And honestly, outside, I can go outside fairly easily at these temperatures with t-shirt and shorts. It's not a big problem. But I don't have to go outside. Almost all the snow is gone. Just the deeper snow and the drifts by the trees and whatnot is left. But they say it might rain today, 9 and rain. No more snow if that happens. So that's kind of good. Not a fan of snow. It's my least favorite part of winter. Cold temperatures, that can be an advantage. The ground freezes. You have a good footing to get around. The honey freezes, which is great. Keeps the liquid honey stable. Keeps the creamed honey stable. Doesn't get it too hot. In the summer, I'm battling heat to try and keep the creamed honey cool. So the winter, one of the things I can do in the winter is I can keep all of my honey that I haul around. I just keep it in the truck, which in the summer I can keep the liquid honey in the truck. But because it gets hot in the truck during the day, if I'm not running it with the air conditioning on, the creamed honey will melt. So every time I come home in the summer, I have to unload the truck, bring the creamed honey into the building where it's a little bit cooler. So that's just extra work, and I don't need extra work. So there are a few bonuses of the cold weather. There really are. There's no mosquitoes. That's a big bonus. There's no wood ticks. So anyway, that's it. That's it for Monday update, I think. And I've just got to get to work here. I have to see if I can bang out 30 of these today. And I'll let you know how that goes. It's Wednesday, November 22nd, 2023. And it's finally froze up around here. The bee barn is catching up. It's staying at 4C now, which is a great relief for me. And you can see how much snow is left here, almost nothing. But the ground is firmed up. It's been below zero now for about 3 days, I think. Well, actually yesterday I think was a high of 1 recorded here locally, and I don't know if that's really all that accurate. I'm getting along building covers. I think I've got about in the vicinity of 140 built now. So I'm definitely on the downward slope to this project. I'd set a timeline for the end of the month, or a deadline to the end of the month to get this done. So I might squeak in under the wire with that. And we'll see what happens. I'm going to Winnipeg again on Friday. And today I'm heading out to a little town about 45-minute drive away. They have a really nice senior center there, and every fall, and I can't remember if they do it in the spring or not, they have a little market for the residents, and they've been inviting me to come to that market. And so I've got the Ram warming up. I've got the essentials in the truck, ready to go to the market, and they're just going to take off here. The market only runs about an hour and a half, so it's not a a huge burden that way. But, you know, I don't go there for the money. I take home, you know, just enough to kind of pay my way and whatnot. It's almost just a PR thing for me. And they would, you know, if I said I wasn't going to come, they would, you know, be kind of let down in that way. I don't mind going. So there's a machine going down the road here. And a little bit breezy. And it's kind of a north wind too, so it's cold. So I'm going to get in the truck and head off to this market. And there's not really much to talk about this week, not much to share. Just building covers and trying to keep up with interruptions I go into markets. So it's the season, right? I've got a couple more markets to do yet this season. So I hope you're having a great Wednesday. Take care and have fun. It's Thursday, November 23rd, 2023. And I'm not going to spend too much time out here talking because, boy, it's ever cold. And as you can tell by things blowing around here, there's a wind, and it's a north wind. It's ever cold. I woke up, it was minus 13 or so when I woke up. And that's kind of good. You know, the mud is frozen, so, you know, you don't sink into the mud everywhere you go. And things are firmed up. And the building is staying cool. So let's look around in here. What do you hear? I can hear the faint buzz of some honeybees. But the controller is returning 4.5 degrees. So we had 4.5 degrees there. And so see, as the ventilation fan doesn't run, and it's the same fan, but I call it either a cooling fan or a ventilation fan. So this is ramping up. The CO2 is ramping up in the room because there's no fresh air coming in, and the bees degrade the air quality in here. So it looks like I have, and I say it looks like I have because I messed with the trigger point. It looks like I've got it set at 2000. So we're looking at 13, and it's going up because I'm standing here talking. It's pretty sensitive. So I've got some bee drop here. I need to get my broom. Where's my broom? I don't even know where my broom is. It's probably on the far side of the room, behind the bees. There's a big pile of them there. I don't know if that's a... Is that from the lights? They go to the lights and then they fall. I don't know. So there is some activity. There's some buzzing around going on, which I wouldn't think there should be. It's cool enough in here. So I was going to point out that the building sheds heat down to about minus 10. So when the temperature is below minus 10, the cooling fan doesn't need to run. So look in here. I'm not seeing any bearding or running around. So they're tucked away in there. Looks like I missed some reducers here. I should pull those out. Yeah, they're all tucked away. There's no activity. Lots of leakage though. I don't know if that's what that is, syrup or... I mean, look at this. That's terrible. It's not what you want. Yeah, I don't know where the running around and buzzing around is coming from, because they seem to be tucked away. A little bit of activity here. This is the one I remember the other day. Had some walking around. So here's a little bit of activity there. Yeah, so that's my livelihood, stacked up in boxes in the shed. I don't like to run those red lights too long. They're not real official red lights like you'd find in photography or anything. So they do have white spectrum, and the bees are attracted to them a little bit. And so that's the check-in with the bee barn. I'm glad it's settled down into 4 degrees. Just as I was going to leave, the fan started up. Now this is venting. I can tell it's on stage 2, so that's the low speed of cooling, I should say. Because I think I have it set to 3.5, so it'll start at 4.5. So anyway, so I can see that even with the outside temperature now, which I'm not sure what the outside temperature is at the moment, that the bees are still bringing the temperature up. See, my phone says -11. That doesn't mean it's -11 right here. And with that north wind, the building should be shedding quite a bit of heat. So I'm kind of surprised that it's needing to cool. But this thing called thermal mass, and everything in here has thermal mass. And some things have more thermal mass, or a more dense thermal mass than others. This honey here, that'll have a pretty dense thermal mass because it's dense, it's heavy by volume. The bees, they have thermal mass, the boxes, everything. The concrete floor definitely has a really good thermal mass. So what happens is when you try to cool something or you try to change the temperature, there's a diminishing return there, because you not only have to cool the air, but then you have to bring all the thermal mass down into equilibrium, into the temperature you desire. So I think that's what's been going on here. 10 or 11,000 pounds of honey in here. It takes a while to cool that down, especially when the outside temperature's not really that cold. So I haven't been able to really draw in a great differential from outside. And so now that we have cold outside air, I'm able to do that. So I'm able to achieve my 3.5, 4 degrees in here, and air temperature wise. And so now I'm able to start bringing down this thermal mass, this concrete floor, the honey, everything in here has thermal mass. And I wish the camera wouldn't do that, but it does. So anyway, there's your physics lesson. All right, I think it's back to the wood shop. I've had a bunch of things I need to do outside today, and I'm done working outside. It's cold. I'm kind of cold for working outside. So, but I mean, I knew I was going to be outside really very long, so I didn't dress up. I'm just in running shoes and my jacket. However, I do wear this jacket all winter. I'll put a hoodie under it, and that really makes it nice and warm. So anyway, we'll be back to the wood shop. Okay, back in the warm wood shop. And it's not really that warm because I don't keep it warm in here. I keep it about 15°C in here. I find any warmer and I overheat while I'm working. I actually often still wear my shorts and t-shirt in here, even at 15°C, just to stay cool while I'm working. Okay, everybody's asking how many you got done, because I'm targeting 200. I need 200 for this order, and there are 136 here. Right, So that means 64 to go. And there's, if you see this one pallet behind here, let's see, we've got this one. If you can see the one pallet behind there, there's about 64 on that pallet. So that's how many I have yet to build. And I was sort of panicking because I'm looking at the number of parts that I have in front of me, and that's not enough for 60 more covers. So I had to go back out to my shed where I have my parts. And sure enough, I found a few more. There's 100. There's 100 more end cleats that I found, and 100 and something, 130 more top cleats. But you know, for 64 covers, that's 128 end cleats, 128 top cleats. So I think I'll be okay for tops. What do I got? 2, 3, 4 by 5. There's 20. There's 24. There's 124 here. So I'm short 4 end cleats, which really sucks because not only do I have to take everything off of my table saw here to mill more parts, but that's the more complex part because it has the milled rabbit in the I can't believe it. I'm gonna have to build 4 more of those just to finish the order. Oh well, I'll burn that bridge when I get to it. So I'm not gonna go over this again. I've gone over this recently, but I will put together, when I'm done, I will put together the whole process of assembly. Because of course I have all my parts cut, so I can't really do that as the video, but this is assembly and trimming and whatnot. So once I start trimming the covers and then doing my little routing to round over, I'll video that. I'll put that all together in one compilation, so you have one video to reference for that. Yeah, so I was out getting some honey ready for a market that we've got coming up. I have 2 more markets to do. Speaking about markets, yesterday I mentioned I was going to that senior center yesterday, and that worked out really nice. It's always kind of fun to go there. It's a casual thing. It's busy though. It's only an hour and a half, and 99% of the buyers come in the first 45 minutes. So you got to be on your game, and they buy. You know, it's really pretty good for an hour and a half. But it's not just an hour and a half because it's time setting up. It's an hour and a half drive. It's 45 minutes one way, and then put everything away when you get home and all that kind of thing. So it's not as bad because we have another market coming up soon. So the things that I've got in the truck, the honey that I've got out, all that kind of stuff, it's sort of crosses over from one to the other. So I don't need to just squirrel everything away right away to do the next market that can just stay there. So anyway, I'm rambling about that. It was fun to see people. I know a few people who live there, and it's also always nice to talk to them, visit with them, and catch up. I only get there, I think they only do this once a year. She said before the COVID, she said they used to do it every spring as well, but has only been doing it once a year since. So she said they might start doing it in the spring, which would be nice. It's always, I would take time out from the bees and the work, but first of all, selling the honey, that's the whole thing. That selling the honey pays the bills. If I didn't have the income from the honey, I wouldn't be able to keep bees, period. Not to this scale for sure. And a market like this isn't a market I go to make a whole ton of money. I make a little pocket money. That's what I make. But it's very consistent. I'm quite pleased that I'll go there and I can tell within $50 or something how much I'm going to take home, which is really nice. So I can really count on that every time. Same thing. So it's worth the drive out and come home. But it doesn't make a huge difference in my bottom line. But it's more PR. It's more go out and have fun. It's more a social event for me than it is a business event kind of thing. So I guess that's what I'm trying to say. it's more social. It's more to see people and talk to people. So regardless, I'm rambling, and I need to get some covers built here, because as we have seen, I need to make 64, I think I said, more covers, something like that. And yeah, they're not going to make themselves, so I need to do this. Anyway, I'm okay. Well, I'll one more thing. I'll talk about Friday. I'm off to Winnipeg again on Friday. So once again, I may or may not do any updating on Friday. I generally don't do a lot of videoing when I'm away from home. I just get into doing my job, and that's what I do. But maybe I should start to try to do more of that. Anyway, off to Winnipeg tomorrow again, and go to the packer, deliveries, pickups, deliveries, that kind of stuff, and just a normal day. So I hope you've had a good week, and I hope you have a good weekend. And I'm a little late, but happy Thanksgiving to my American friends. And since this is Thursday, I'll also give a greeting to my Canadian friends. Happy Thursday. And, I hope by the weekend that, you're full of turkey and you're thankful. I'm thankful. I've been saying today, I get emotional about it too. I'm out working in the cold there, and then I come back into this beautiful facility, and I always say this place could be twice as big, but it's a good size, and the biggest thing is it's warm. I'm not out in the cold, so I'm very, very thankful for this facility. It's a beautiful facility. It's not fancy. It's just a big box, and it's warm, and it's out of the wind, out of the rain, out of the snow, and I can do my work here all winter. So that's one thing I'm very thankful for, is a warm and dry place to work. So have a great weekend. Take care and have fun.